Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
It's the first game of the day in NFL Week 5 on Sunday. It's the Jets and the Falcons, 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff because they're playing the game in London. For more on this game, we go out to the Progressive guest line right now, and we bring on the co-founder of JetsXFactor.com. He is Robby Sabo, and he joins us here on the Jake Asman Show. Robby, appreciate the time, man. How are you?
I'm good, Jake. How are you doing?
Fantastic, man. So let's talk about the Jets' win last week over the Titans, because I'm sure it caught a lot of people by surprise. What did you make of that performance, and specifically, what did you make of the performance of Zach Wilson?
I mean, he wasn't perfect. You know, he deserved the Rookie of the Week, no doubt. Made great plays. Wasn't perfect. You know, you'd like to have that outcut to Corey Davis to ice the game, that dump off to, I think it was Griffin, in the right flat in overtime, would have sealed it, walked it off. So there's some stuff where I think he's overthinking things. Orlovsky called it pulling the string, technique-wise. But overall, I think the biggest thing is he's not overthinking things to a complete disaster degree. You know, Saleh especially. You know, he had some good words this past week in which, as a fan, as an onlooker, he's not going to Rex Ryan it with Sanchez, where, instill fear in the kid, where if you turn the ball over, we're screwed. Just don't do that. Try to let our defense win it. You can't do that in today's game. So the fact that he performed off schedule, they let him throw downfield, just let it rip, took the first step into regaining that confidence is a really good sign. And, hey, against Atlanta with this secondary, with this pass defense, we'll see. This could be the next big step.
You look at this matchup tomorrow, and the Falcons are certainly beat up. They're missing Calvin Ridley. They're missing Russell Gage. They're missing a couple key players on defense. Jets still a slight underdog in this one, Robby. What has to go right if they're going to win this game?
Yeah, I think with FanDuel have it at negative 2.5 spread right now. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't actually a little closer because, Atlanta, they're not that talented right now. They got Cordarrelle Patterson offensively. No Ridley is a huge deal. Kyle Pitts is a great weapon, but rookie tight ends really, there's a big transition period there for rookie tight ends. So I think going back to the first point, letting Zach rip it is a big deal. Dan Pease, I think he'll try to stop the run early. He's always been a big linebackers guy. That's his bread and butter. So he'll look to stop the run early. If LaFleur and Saleh allow Wilson to take chunks early downfield, I think that's a huge thing because then it'll open up those running lanes for Carter, for Ty Johnson, all those other guys. On the other side of the ball, hey, fine Cordarrelle Patterson. I actually like Atlanta's offensive line better than most, but the weapons just aren't there. And the way these young kids are covering, Bryce Hall, Michael Carter, Guidry, the beauty about this defense with Ulbrich and Saleh is it's not crazy complex. It's simple, but once the coaching points and these young kids start to understand how to play this defense, it gets more complex as the season goes along. So I'm expecting them to take another jump tomorrow.
Robby Sabo is our guest here on the Jake Asman Show, previewing the Falcons and Jets matchup in London tomorrow morning. Robby, looking at the Jets defense, you just alluded to, how they've been coached by Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich, their defensive coordinator. Would you say the Jets defense is underrated? Because you look at the record, yeah, they're 1-3, but really, Robby, this better than anyone watching them up close on the film study. This is a Jets unit that's played really well overall this season.
I'll tell you what, I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. I think they were going to be coming into the season. I expected the offense to hit on all cylinders early and the defense to struggle really badly. Now, against Carolina, I thought they struggled more than everyone thought. At the game, seeing what was happening downfield, Darnold missed a lot of open guys. There were some other circumstances. But since that Carolina game, they have really come together, and they're really playing well. I think Ulbrich and Saleh made a couple slight adjustments. Instead of blitzing and trying to disguise pre-snap, notice their defense. It's pretty simplistic, where they're going to either play quarters, cover 3, and a very lagged zone defense where no one has a chance of blitzing. Or if they're going to blitz, they're going to play man, single high, or even a zero blitz look, no single high safety, and press on the outside. So there's kind of no in between. They don't try to fool the offense. They say, if we're going to blitz, you'll know we're blitzing. We're all up at the line of scrimmage, and our corners are one-on-one, and we trust them. If we're not going to blitz, we're going to be in our lagged, 3 deep quarters, or even a cover 6 if it's against a 3-by-1 defense. So I kind of respect that. They're not trying to confuse the offense, and they're playing responsibility and principle. And I think that really helps youngsters.
The Jets yesterday, Robby, announced an extension with FranklinMyers, one of their young players that they were able to find from another team. Joe Douglas picked up FranklinMyers off waivers, and the Jets have developed him into a really good edge rusher. What were your thoughts on that signing, and just how good has he been in this defense so far?
I mean, he's been great. And, I actually happened to bump into him this summer outside of his Jets duties accidentally. And he's always appreciative. He always says the right thing. He's always appreciative of anyone who recognizes him, recognizes his talent, his character, because he knows how long that goes in terms of recognition around the league. And he's just one of these guys that Douglas has found now where the narrative's starting to repeat itself. Hey, look, they really found something in this guy. He's a hidden gem they discovered. They have something in this kid, this mid to late round pick or undrafted guy. And I think that's the part of it when you want to turn around a program that people tend to forget. Yeah, Douglas needs to hit on Zach Wilson and AVT and Becton, the first and second round picks. But when you look around the league, most general managers, even good general managers, bust on most draft picks. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen with Douglas too. The key is finding those hidden gems, like the JFMs, who I think he recorded a sack in the Super Bowl for Los Angeles. But they had so many guys that Douglas took advantage of the situation. Like a Guidry, like a Michael Carter, mid-round pick, Bryce Hall, mid-round pick. So JFM's been great. For all the doomsday scenarios with Carl Lawson, which, I was there too, because he's huge, to lose him. One thing you could say is this 4-man rush, they haven't missed Lawson in that sense, where the 4-man rush is a disaster. They've been really good winning one-on-one battles. And as the weeks have progressed, their games and their stunts up front have really taken off.
Robby Sabo is our guest. Follow him on Twitter at Robby Sabo, co-founder of JetsXFactor.com, as we talk Jets ahead of their matchup with the Falcons tomorrow in London. And look, first game of the day. A lot of eyeballs are certainly going to be on both these teams. Robby, I want to get to what's happening with the Seahawks, and we'll get back to this game tomorrow. I mean, how significant is it from a Jets standpoint that Russell Wilson could miss as many as 6 games, considering the fact the Jets own the Seattle Seahawks first-round pick this year because of the Jamal Adams trade made last year?
I mean, there has to be football gods somewhere. I mean, because just from a hilarious standpoint, Geno Smith, Jets 2013 is now the starting quarterback for a Jamal Adams-led team who, Jamal made all the noise to get out, go to Seattle, and this might be a completely lost season for that team now. So if there are no football gods, that's a hell of a coincidence that Geno's now quarterback, right? Listen, Jamal, I'm not as down on Jamal as everyone else is. I don't think his coverage is great. I still think he's a stud safety, but we all know Joe Douglas fleeced the Seahawks in that deal. There's no question about it. You don't, positions. Yeah, I used to play safety a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but safety, you don't want to pay a safety. You just don't want to do it in a hard salary cap league. It's one of those positions where you want a stud, you want to pay a guy, but you don't want to do it until you know what your roster looks like first. That's the key. It's kind of like running back. So, hey, if you're a Jets fan, you got to keep rooting for the Seahawks to lose and your Jets to win. And then you can have the best of both worlds.
How bad does that trade look now, though, Robby? Like, to me, it was crazy at the time that they traded 2 1s and a third in the first place. But you look at what the Jets did with the first round pick. They turned it into Elijah Vera Tucker, who looks like he could be, a longtime star left guard. Now, that pick with Russell Wilson going down, I mean, could it potentially be in the top 15? I mean, it's not crazy, right? I mean, just how bad does that trade look?
Absolutely. I mean, if he misses, 6 to 8 weeks
Yep.
right now, Yeah, if he misses that time, absolutely, he could be in the top 15. The NFC West is loaded. Arizona, San Fran. I mean, it is the Rams. It is absolutely loaded. It could be in the top 15. Their defense, even with Jamal, is not a good defense. They can't really do much. The defensive coordinator, I don't know how well he gets his hands around a game each week in, week out. So it's just a great trade by Douglas. See, the key with being a great general manager is you got to stick to your gumption. No matter what's read, what's said, especially in New York, the tone superstar. Why would you trade away? It's a common theme. Why would you trade away a superstar? If you have a superstar, you keep the superstar. That's baseball. That's basketball. That's not in a hard salary cap league like hockey and football. It's a strategy. You got to fit puzzle pieces. So, got to tip your cap to Joe Douglas for that trade, because that could be the start. That could be the turning point where you look back and say, hey, that started it all.
Robby, let's talk about this game tomorrow as we wrap up here. Give me a key matchup to watch that both teams are going to try and take advantage of between the Jets and Falcons.
Well, first thing is Cordell Patterson offensively for Atlanta. Running back, receiver. I expect Arthur Smith to try to line him up against the Jets' inexperience at outside linebacker, whether it's Hamza, Quincy Williams, in the flat, wheels out of the backfield. I'll look for that early. Maybe they try to get based out there because they got, Ridley out, Gage out. So maybe a 21 personnel for Arthur Smith. If I was him, that's what I would do, and try to work Patterson as a running back against one of those outside linebackers. On the other side, I guess, again, we'll go back to the beginning. Zach Wilson. You don't want to attack the Falcons DBs if it's not there. If they're too deep and they're playing lagged and really soft coverage, you don't want to attack it. But again, I think they've given up the second most touchdowns as a secondary in the league so far. Shout out to Michael Nania. So if Atlanta is giving you any kind of pass, whether it's short, intermediate, or deep early, you have to attack it. You just take what they give you and then make them adjust. That's the first thing with LaFleur, because LaFleur sometimes, yes, you want to run the ball. You want to start the game trying to run the ball because that scheme revolves around the run. But for Zach Wilson, his confidence is much more important than trying to get the principles of the scheme down right now. I would get Wilson's confidence up first, then worry about the scheme later. So just attack what the defense gives you.
Predict the Zach Wilson stat line for tomorrow, Robby.
Is an interesting one, right? I think let's get a little crazy. Let's go low 300s, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Ooh. That'd be a big time showing. That might be worthy of back-to-back Rookie of the Week honors, Robby.
Absolutely. Hey, the opponent is huge. Jets with the injuries, and still, I mean, how many defensive starters do they have out? 5?
Yep.
Joyner, Marcus May, Carl Lawson. I don't know if you'd count Curry, but Curry's a huge piece. Jared Davis. So the Jets have never gotten the breaks in the injury department. Finally, 2 weeks straight. A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Gage. You got to take advantage of it. And I think they can against this defense with not too many weapons on the other side.
Robby, appreciate the time as always, man. Great stuff. Love when you join me on the radio show. Love when I can get you on the YouTube channel as well. Appreciate it, and continued success at JetsXFactor.com.
All right. Thanks, brother. Keep doing your thing.
Robby Sabo joining us there. You can follow him on Twitter at Robby Sabo. That's ROBBYSABO. He joined us there on our progressive guest line, and drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average. I agree with him. I like the Jets tomorrow as well. I think Atlanta does not have the defense that is going to be able to prevent the fact that the Falcons offensively are just missing a lot. I mean, Matt Ryan's still a pretty good quarterback, but no Ridley, no Russell Gage. That's a lot, especially with how well the Jets defense has played so far this year. I think it's a tough matchup for Atlanta. And I think if you're going to bet this game, you can actually get the Jets as an underdog. So I already have a bet on the Jets at +3, and I like them on the money line. So that's my 2 cents. I take the Jets in this game as well. We'll take a quick break and wrap up hour 2 of 3. This is the Jake Asman Show with you till 6 Eastern right here on Sports Map Radio.
Wake up call! Red Sox would fail time and time again and bring up the curse of the Bambino.